All right, welcome in. Welcome in. We got, I don't know, this is what, our second Sunday morning?
Second Sunday, yeah.
Hitting a little live stream, answering some start sits, talking about just some of the harder players to start. I think, anytime you get a player kind of come out of the woodwork, like a Troy Franklin, it's going to be a pretty tough week when you get him off the waiver wire. You're excited that you got him, especially in like your deeper leagues, but can you actually put him in the lineup? And with how crazy the beginning of the season is, with some tough start sits, just in general. But now you got guys like the AJ Browns, the TJ Hawkinsons, just not doing what you want for your lineup. Then it really creates an issue, and you're like, am I really going to start Troy Franklin over this guy I drafted in like the sixth round or whatever your situation might be? So, Dan.
Yeah. Funny enough, I actually was able to pick up Troy Franklin in a 10-team dynasty league off of waiver.
Really?
Yeah, so that was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually Randy's league, and I'm looking at my lineup, and I actually put him in the starting lineup. I got him as essentially like a flex play for me. So, yeah, I mean, the other guys I'm choosing between are like Jordan Mason, J.K. Dobbins. Those would probably be like the best two. So, what do you think? Any initial thoughts on that? So I mean, this league, let's see. Wide receivers actually get 1.5 PPR in this league, which is kind of interesting. Running backs get 1.25 PPR. So, a little bit of an advantage for the receivers there, I guess. Maybe that breaks the ties. That's probably why I put Franklin in there ahead of the two running backs. But what do you think? I mean, do you feel like safer with Dobbins or Jordan Mason, even despite the scoring?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I would put Mason in 1,000%. Like, I
Okay.
mean, unless you have just like,
Yeah.
basically, you got you could talk yourself into like some Smitty archetype player. Like, he's
Mm,
easily in that range of just like, you gotta, like, why you have Jordan Mason if you're not gonna fire him up versus the
right.
Bengals as a starter? I mean, absolute
Yeah.
gonna be a workload. I do think people might potentially be overhyping up just Mason a tad bit because I'm hearing some crazy stuff on the Twitter street saying like I mean I hope they're part joking but saying that he projects out as one of the best running backs in the entire week. How do you project 30 points for a play, like no, like it's good to see he'll get a hopefully a couple catches this week, right? Just because he's going to be the absolute bell cow, it sounds like.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
You're
mean,
talking
this
about Jordan Mason.
this offense still needs to get rolling. I'm optimistic that could happen, but
Hmm.
and he's looked good on the ground. But again, he
Hmm.
still needs like score a touchdown, and the Vikings just don't score rushing touchdowns in general. So they must, yeah. Other than JJ McCarthy's, they don't have a rushing touchdown this year. Granted, they didn't
Hmm.
even score a touchdown last week. So Mason is a very, very, very strong play.
Hmm.
Um, would absolutely throw him in over Franklin. Just would be hesitant to start him over like Devonte Adams or someone like that.
Yeah, yeah. But actually, I just noticed that Juwan Jennings, who I have in my starting lineup, is listed as
Yep.
out. So
Oh, damn it.
do I need to start? So I guess the question now is, do I start Troy Franklin or J.K. Dobbins?
Yeah. Okay. Well, now there we go. We get to roll through all of them. That's a tough one. I mean,
Or wait, actually, wait. Did I make that up? I swear I just saw that. Now it
nope.
says questionable again. I don't know if Sleeper's
No,
glitching
I
or I'm
just
losing my mind here, but
yeah, I heard that it was sounded like he was gonna be like truly, truly questionable for the game. I just got the
okay,
notification 2 minutes ago that Jennings is out. That's
okay,
gonna create some issues with some lineups,
yeah.
especially with mine.
Yeah, so
So,
yeah, we'll probably be we might be like adjusting our own lineups here
yeah,
for like the first 10 minutes or so here, just making sure we're good, so then we can just focus on helping out everyone else out there.
yeah. So I gotta text my buddy because we got Jennings out and he never ended up mentioning anything. I doubt he knows he's out.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna get Jennings out of my lineup, and I think I'll put in Franklin for now, but yeah, we can talk about whether you like him or J.K. Dobbins better.
Yeah.
So again, 1.5 PPR for receivers, 1.25 PPR for running backs.
So a little boost to the receptions. I would call that on a play like Trent Franklin. Okay, you can bump an extra point onto his game.
Yeah,
I suppose.
yeah, not too
Yeah.
significant, but I thought it was worth mentioning.
And I'm just going to refresh with Dobbins here because I don't even own him in the league, but I know he's been doing well. And I mean, I'm just seeing like he's getting, you know, what 17 and then 15, no 18 then 15 opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he got there. Yeah, he's got in the end zone both times. Like the
Mm-hmm.
Chargers is, I mean, it feels like a tough matchup. Like the defense is like seems pretty solid, but it's just one of those games where I don't know. It feels like that one could just be kind of like a gunsling show. Especially I don't know, like maybe you get a little bit more touchdowns than you expect. I know it's the divisional matchup, which sometimes like those are really tough matchups with a couple good defenses. But I would just leave Troy Franklin again, just like or not Troy Franklin, Dobbins, like with just the opportunities. It's not like he's even gave you a bad week anyways in the first 2 weeks, and so it's like if you're gonna sit on like kind of expecting that, like that's kind of feels like a disaster, and you're projecting that like okay, well hopefully Troy Franklin runs up what he did last week, which was
Right.
I mean we'll get into I guess in a moment here. It might be an outlier. It might not. Just saying that doesn't make me feel very confident to start him over someone like Dobbins in week 3.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's getting a little cute, like forcing Troy Franklin into your lineup if you have someone reliable who's been good through each of the first 2 weeks. Just stick with that guy, and really don't worry too much about matchup. I used to factor in matchup a lot more with my start sit decisions, and I'm not saying it isn't like a consideration, but I feel like it's more consideration if it's just like maybe some kind of like dream matchup where it just like screams like, okay, start this receiver against this NFL team or start this running back against this NFL team. Yeah. But if it's not like some big outlier like that, for the most part, I'm just kind of ignoring the matchups because things vary so much week to week. I mean, sometimes just an NFL team just doesn't really like show up to play for whatever reason. I feel like it happens more so when they're on the road. When they have to travel far, especially, but you just never know. It's unpredictable, so I just tend to like ignore matchups now and just like start my best players.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely should ignore them unless there's been like a long history of a team being really good at something, and then you don't have any reason to like change that. Then I mean, like the immediate two things that would come to mind are like the Eagles defense and like the Chiefs defense, like run game right now. Those have been like something across multiple seasons. They seem pretty damn good right now, so I'm scared of those ones. But other than that, like, we have 2 weeks sample. Like, that's not, like, the matchups, especially on, like, that app. I know a lot of people will be, like, doing that for week 3, looking at the app, green or red. Like, that doesn't matter. That probably just means they played, like, the Chargers, receiver core or something.
Yeah.
So, like, of course the defense is going to look like it's bad. Or the
and you know the most deceiving one is like the tight end matchups, like for fantasy, because usually like you'll look and see like, oh, it's like a green matchup, and then you'll look and see like what teams like that NFL defense has played, and like it's always like they've played against like the NFL's like best tight ends, like oh they played against like Kittle and Trey McBride, and it's like okay, of course they're going to be bad against tight ends because they played against like the elite ones.
Yeah, once you get I don't know, I'm trying to think of once TJ Hawkinson lights you up, though, on top of those guys, now you know it's a good matchup. But yeah, it probably isn't too long until we could start taking those things a little bit more into consideration, but very difficult to do so.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the further along into the season you get, you get a better sense of like what the good matchups actually are. Yeah. But I always think they're overrated for tight ends. So I usually like if I'm going to ignore one type of matchup in fantasy, it's for tight ends. I just don't care.
And like also, especially even like redraft, like what would even that decision be? Like, okay, I'm gonna sit, Tyler Warren this week on a tough match. Okay, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pick up Chico Conquo this week.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, especially in obviously in Dynasty you might or might not have something, but yeah, in redraft. You're probably just rolling with who you got each week. What else?
So before we get in and help everyone, do you have any like tough lineup decisions offhand that like you're struggling with? Like, do you want to cycle through any of your teams and like make sure that you're good before we jump into things here?
I looked into a couple. Again, I kind of was just adjusting it over the week. I mean, there was one that like I think I would have to cut someone to even like to make the move or something like that, or move someone into
Okay.
IR. Which so that's just kind of motivation to keep it as is, just in
Yeah.
general. But I have
Right.
Rashid Shaheed in, which like there's just a bunch of players that I could put in as well, but like they're all just kind of like Rashid Shaheed to like some degree, and I don't even feel like that great like putting them in my it's just basically my last spot in my lineup for the last flex.
Hmm.
But there is there's Ridley who like I think can just turn it on each week, but I've had him
Yeah.
in the last 2 weeks, and it's just like let me just throw Shaheed in here. I think he can kind of give me a similar bet anyways.
Right.
Um, and I don't know, they're just slinging the ball a lot more. So I like that.
Oh yeah, with Kellen Moore and everything, like that's been good to see from the Saints.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Olave's been getting a lot of targets. I've noticed it seems like
mhm.
double-digit targets every week. So yeah, I can see starting Shaheed there.
Yeah, but I noticed well, there's a few other ones. So there, I also have Fannin on my taxi, so I can
Okay.
elevate him.
Yeah.
And then I also have there's one off IR. There's another guy I'm completely missing, but
Mhm.
it's in the Shaheed range. There's Christian Kirk just got elevated for this game and is ready to go, which doesn't sound very exciting at all. Which is exactly what I'm thinking. Like he's actually probably a pretty good candidate in just like all formats, especially like obviously full PPR.
Yeah.
He's probably really cheap in Dynasty because just
Mhm.
like no one's ever talked about Christian Kirk in the last like 3 months. But
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that offense needs Christian Kirk. Like they're rolling Xavier Hutchinson out there and freaking what's his name, that Justin Watson.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, I wish they'd be playing Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins.
yeah,
A couple rookies that we're excited about, especially Noel is a guy I know we both really
yeah.
like a lot. But yeah, I don't know. We didn't hear a lot of hype about them in the offseason, especially Noel.
They're
I feel like we
yeah.
didn't like hear a word about, which was strange because I just really thought he might. I mean, I expected Kirk to open the season as a starter, and I did think Kirk could be kind of sneaky this year, at least as long as he's healthy. But I am surprised that there hasn't been more talk about Noel. But hope he does get a chance at some point. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Kirk
Yeah.
does.
There was some really good talk on Higgins in the offseason, but like they're
Yeah.
still not rolling him out. Anyways, to me, just seeing how that they've deployed that room, just to me is kind of screaming holy, like Christian Kirk probably will be used quite a bit, and also potentially in two wide receiver sets as well.
Hmm.
I think I think they're a pretty heavy 11 personnel team. I'd have to look into that. But
Okay.
anyways, I think Christian Kirk is kind of just like if you're in desperation, you can do a lot worse than him. And
Hmm.
like if I didn't have Shaheed to put in over Ridley, I'd probably just be willing to just do that random like switch up play and just throw Christian Kirk in, slot demon, deemed by
Yeah.
the Texans coaching staff this offseason. So
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to fire him out because it's one of those things where most people probably won't start him until they see it.
yeah,
But like, watch him come out and have like a great first week here,
yeah.
and then you're gonna miss it, and then you're gonna
Then
chase
you
the
put him
points.
in.
Start him, and then he'll
Yeah,
probably like disappoint next week. So yeah,
yeah.
just start him today if he's if you don't have an obviously better option.
What would you do between Shaheed and what's his name there? Actually, I have Collins in this lineup though. I just realized it is against
Oh, Nico
Jacksonville.
Collins. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, maybe for ceiling purposes, maybe you mix it up and start a Saint and a Texan. But
yeah,
yeah, I wouldn't have like a strong feeling in a vacuum between
yeah.
like Kirk and Shaheed. I mean,
I'll
where
take. They play. It's Jacksonville versus Houston, and then it's Seattle versus New Orleans. But I'll
yeah,
take your advice. I've had Shaheed in, and I'm just gonna leave him. And
yeah, exactly. You
yeah,
see, there you go. See, now you're learning. That is the best thing to do is just go with your
yeah,
instinct and like don't make the last minute change.
yeah. I'll leave it as that. We got Coop in the chat here,
Hey,
regretting
welcome.
keeping regret keeping Waddle on my dynasty benches this week on a few, and having to start Hampton again on his main redraft team sent you to 0-2. Oh boy, yeah. Coop, strongest adventures from TD celebrations. I know him in real life. Him and I have like a big money redraft league, and we had got a pretty damn good deal on Hampton in the draft. Like no one wanted him,
Yeah.
so we have him as like our RB1, and our RB2 is like as suspect as you get. Like everyone was just hammering running backs in this draft, but we have a really good team around it. But like now we have like Charbonnet out, who's kind of by default our RB2 for now.
Yeah.
While we have like a million rookies waiting, and we
Mhm.
could not feel any worse about rolling Hampton out as our RB1 for week 3. So I can feel you on that. Especially, yeah, if you're 0-2, like, you do not feel good about that. And also, what did Waddle do? I mean, I watched the game, but, like, he only had, like, I think he had, like, 3 catches on the final drive, but then maybe he got a fourth one. He actually,
Okay.
it's like every single catch he had was, like, a touchdown or a first down, it seemed like. Even though he wasn't having, like, a box score, like, significant game. But,
Right.
again, he did score a touchdown, so he must have got there for fantasy, like, probably, if I had to guess, I don't know, what, 16, 17 points, something like that, so...
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean Waddle's been a tough guy to know what to do with. Like, do you have any?
Yeah. So I mean, it sounds like Cooper. Obviously, he already made a decision. It sounds like he benched him. So I don't Cooper. I don't know if you have like what options you're deciding between now. But yeah, Hampton. I don't feel great about, but I mean, let us know what your other options are, and we can let you know whether you should
Yeah,
start or sit him. But sounds like you might not have better options.
yeah. It doesn't sound like he does. Maybe there's some somewhat
Oh wow,
intriguing one.
he says he got
Yeah,
Hampton in round 5. I mean, that's an amazing value, even if it's like only a 10-team
yeah,
league. And yeah, you probably did steal him in the draft, but it's probably just going to take a few more weeks before he really gets rolling. And that's just the case for most rookies, even one with the draft capital that Hampton has.
yeah. No, exactly. So, yeah. I mean, I feel it's been tough. We're in a little bit of a dilemma in that league for start sits because we just lost Jennings.
Mhm.
And I was like pounding the table like we need to go get Dontavian Wicks off the waiver wire in this full PPR, and we're gonna have to fire him up now. So I'm actually kind of excited about that because I really wanted to get Wicks in some lineups this week, just knowing that the opportunity. Um, I just think Wicks, like, I don't know, I just think it would be like the most predictable thing ever. Everyone has written off Wicks. He was one of the most beloved players of that last offseason.
Right.
And then now it's like he's basically no one's talking about him, and he's primed as like the starting slot receiver for the Packers and an offense that's rolling. Uh, he's a pretty obvious target or even sneaky flex candidate, and just like no one cares.
Yeah, I do think Wicks is kind of interesting. I think he is someone you can pick up even in redraft.
Yeah,
Especially if it's a redraft league where maybe the benches are like a little deeper than usual. But yeah, I think Wicks is an interesting guy, and he could definitely be that like post hype sleeper that maybe ends up panning out this year, even though everyone's now given up on him already.
yeah. Actually, I just realized in my just my main home league, I'm actually firing him up in the flex. Oh, because I lost. Who did I lose? I lost someone, but I'm throwing him in there, hoping for the best. So
Hmm.
excited to watch that game. But he says
Hey,
Tootin,
so Tootin.
Tootin Sampson. Um,
Oh, I mean, I'd probably start Tootin
I
honestly.
mean, like, yeah, like, like, not even joking. I'd probably start Tootin. Like,
Yeah.
the Houston defense is good, but like, he got 10 opportunities. It could be one of those kind of like trappy things where it's like, okay, he gets like 10 that week because of the game script or something like that. Maybe there's a lot of plays ran. And okay, maybe he like randomly sees 7, but I would just kind of like bet on him like matching that. And I mean, if there's a player that's more explosive than Hampton, it's like Tootin. He's like literally like the most explosive running back in that entire draft.
Oh yeah.
The offense is
I mean,
rolling too.
yeah, he had a sick touchdown last week. Put a really nice move on the defender, and he looked
Yeah,
fast. I mean, you can just tell like he can fly. So I'm pretty excited about him. And yeah, I'm starting
yeah,
him in a dynasty league. I left him off the taxi squad just because it's a grease bowl, and I don't have much running back depth. So I was just sort of hoping and anticipating that okay, maybe Tootin um, maybe he pans out sooner than expected, and then that way I don't have to like lose a roster spot by having to elevate him from taxi.
yeah, exactly. Like Tootin, if you need to, yeah, throw him in. Like
Hmm.
you could do a lot worse than Tootin. Obviously, you need that touchdown probably to feel good, but you just never know, right? Like he can hit some big plays as well, and honestly, if he does, he's probably is scoring that touchdown. So
Yeah. Hey, and I got my brother in the live chat, James Fortune. He says thoughts on starting Ibuka while on a limited snap count. So
interesting.
yeah, we had started talking about this before we went live, Blake. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on Ibuka, and what have you heard?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too much information out there. It's been like a hip groin, which I mean immediately, like in hockey, like you don't like a groin injury is really not something you like at all. I guess it like
Mm.
tends to like linger and get re-injured a lot, from what I know. So I don't love that, but then again, reports have been pretty good. Like it's minor, it's not that big of a deal, and
Okay.
they said no limitations, and then now all of a sudden you don't want to see that though. They're saying okay, quote unquote limited snap count. So it is very difficult. Like if he's just clearly your best player, I think you gotta
Mm.
just like fire him up. But if you're in one of those leagues where you got a bunch of other kind of lateral options to go to that are not on a limited potential snap count, I think you just gotta roll with them.
Yeah. And James, let us know what your other options are that you're deciding between with regard to Abuka, and we can give you some advice about whether to start him or not. But yeah, I think I agree. Also, if he's out there and he gets into the flow of the game, like the coaching staff might have a hard time, like
Yeah.
really like limiting him if he's like feeling good and doing some good things. Like they probably just like leave him in there and let him do his thing. So I mean, yeah, there's a little added risk with it, but we've seen this lots of times where sometimes like in the past, like maybe I've like benched someone because like, oh, like, they're, they sound a little iffy or like they might be on a little limited snap count and it ends up just like not mattering at all. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, of course, there are plenty of cases where that comes back to bite you in the butt too. So yeah, I would say there's some added risk, but if you don't have like an obviously better option,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be afraid to just stick with him. I guess it also depends a little bit on like whether you're like favored in your matchup or you're an underdog. I mean, that could factor in as well. So like, yeah, if you're favored, maybe, and you have like a safer option, like maybe you'd lean toward that, but I wouldn't overthink it too much. I mean, like I have a book in a dynasty league and I'm choosing between him and David Montgomery. So any thoughts on that? I mean, that game could be a shootout. Lions Ravens. I mean, what do you think? If we normally start Ibuka, would you just stick with it, or is Montgomery good enough in a potential shootout game where that would be enticing enough for you?
Yeah, I mean, again, kind of just like I guess owner to owners type. I mean, again, you're Lions fans, so you're gonna be probably more inclined to just like
Yeah.
play, yeah, Monty over Ibuka just in general, or like have them closer. And then yeah, I think like the limit snap count could easily be enough to
Okay.
get in there. I would feel much more confident just in general also on Ibuka if like he had really high volume. Like he really has not been like receiving
Yeah.
like they've been slinging it, and he's like does not have a very high target share. Of He's been amazing, but like
Yeah.
he's been very
Right.
touchdown dependent basically. So I
Yeah.
mean, you're kind of getting the same bet out of Monty, and he's healthy.
Hmm.
I would probably lean that just for this week. And again, you're kind of just
Okay.
hoping you're wrong in the fact that like
Right. Hope
Ibuka's
he's
good to
okay.
go. I mean, you don't want to
Yeah,
Ibuka
and then you feel better about him next week. Yeah, so
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna think about that. But yeah, my brother James says that he could play either Quentin Johnston, Ricky Pearsall,
Ooh.
Quinshawn Judkins, or Travion Henderson.
Oh boy.
So I think for me, it'd probably be between Quentin Johnston and I don't know, maybe even Judkins is kind of interesting because like he I
That's
didn't
a
watch the game, but I mean he put up a nice little stat line there last
Yeah,
week.
very, very, very tough matchup with the Packers. So
Yeah,
like, I think I would probably just like eliminate him. That's probably one of the defenses this year when we are talking about that earlier. Like the
yeah,
Packers is one like I'm legitimately would be scared of
mhm,
so far. Ricky
yeah,
Pearsall's got a really, really good matchup. You were talking about the Cardinals DBs just like all falling down and
yeah.
then being
Being
injured.
injured. Yeah,
Um, so I actually think Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings is out. So like Ricky
yeah.
Pearsall to me sticks out as like kind of obvious guy. I know that Quentin Johnston's been very, very hot. Um, so yeah, I think I would lean either QJ or Ricky Pearsall,
Over
personally.
Ibuka. Okay.
Yeah, I mean personally, I think again because it's just that lateral kind of start sit anyways, and just
Yeah.
roll with a guy that's healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I can see riding the hot hand in Quentin Johnston. It's not an amazing matchup. I do feel like Ricky Pearsall's due. So I don't know. Like, I hate to go starting a guy hoping he has like his first good week. I mean, I guess he hasn't been like terrible through the first 2 weeks. But yeah, that is a tough decision. Let's see. And who do the Bucks play again?
I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, why don't we know that? Oh, they play the Jets. Okay, yeah, they're Ibuka's home against
Yeah,
the Jets. Yeah, actually, the Jets' defense hasn't been
yeah,
very good this year, so I don't think that's a matchup that scares you. God, that is a really tough choice between those three guys. Yeah, maybe that a tiebreaker goes to Pearsall with no Jennings. Great matchup against the Cardinals. I think I'm going Pearsall, but
That's where I lean too. Like,
yeah,
it's just like the stars are aligning that matchup.
yeah, he's
Again, like
due.
if
He's
you
due.
own
Like this
Ricky
has to be his
Pearsall,
breakout week.
yeah, if you own Ricky Pearsall, like this is like literally the week to start. We probably said that last week, but again, that was a good opportunity, good matchup. Now you don't even have
Yeah,
Jennings in. Mac Jones coming off a good game.
yeah,
But yeah, Judkins and Henderson are easy scratches out. Obviously, very tough decisions there. Uh,
yeah,
I mean, you got a little bit of everything. You got like Ricky Pearsall, who's like the less productive guy so far, but the stars are aligning. QJ, who's been like way too hot to to even be able to trust that he'll do it again. You're just like he's due for a dud, and then Igbuka, who is
yeah. So it sounds like we're both recommending Ricky Pearsall. So I hope that helps you, bro.
yeah. And then we got Coop here, who was saying that he had made a couple trades. He traded, what was it, him and Odunze, which was, ETN and Odunze for Nico Collins. And he traded Genti and Igbuka for JT and Travis Hunter. And had he made no trades, he'd be 2-0 because he made the trades. He's now 0-2.
Oh man.
And then he also asked, bought into the Hunter hype week 1. I can absolutely relate with you. And JT's been great, tooting over Hampton. Yeah, I mean, look, it doesn't sound like a real decision you want to make. I completely understand you just want to roll Hampton out there anyways. The funniest part, if you just kind of take a step back, what's the difference? Like in week 3, what is the difference? They're both in timeshares. In fact, Hampton was out-touched last week by Najee Harris. I mean, like, Hampton is not the 100-touch backfield guy like we were thinking he is. They're pretty much the same play, and I just feel more confident in Toot and breaking one, to be completely honest. So,
Exactly.
I mean, I didn't even really realize that's how I felt before talking it through here on stream.
Right.
Luckily, I haven't had to make that decision anywhere. I really don't think there's too much of a difference on them. So.
Yeah. And hey, I'm posting the link to our stream on my Facebook, which I haven't done in a while, but I figured maybe we'll bring in a few extra people in here. So.
Okay, and then James says, gonna go Pearsall. Thank you for the expertise. Hope that works out. That is a very tough one. Like that is a very tough one. We answered one last week that was actually had Pearsall in it too, and it was like Pearsall, Pickens, and I don't know, another very similar player. And man, like way too tough to even do that. I think you just got to go with the stars aligning. So I like that. I'll be cheering for Pearsall this week. Hoping.
Yeah, I just feel like he's so due for a good game. So I'd rather. I don't know. I mean, normally you don't like to anticipate someone's first good game of the season, but I mean we've seen it from Ricky Pearsall before. I mean he was hot to end last season, so we know he's capable of doing it. I mean, if he doesn't do it this week, when is it gonna happen?
If he doesn't do it this week, I mean, you can just learn your lessons. You can sit him on your bench, do anything. I mean, normally you're investing a decent amount of capital in Pearsall, though he was a nice kind of target a little bit later in drafts. I mean, there's just no point down if he doesn't do it this week. And
Ibuka, I mean, he's going to have a down week at some point. I mean, this certainly could be it with him dealing with the injury, maybe having limited snap count. Again, not that I'm completely against starting Ibuka, but if you have someone as good as Pearsall, even Quentin Johnston, definitely have no issue starting one of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it would probably easily be Igbuka if he just wasn't hurt or whatever. It would be a little bit easier to make that decision over the other two guys. But I mean, this is actually the regression play. You got the positive regression, Pearsall,
right,
and then you got the ultra negative regression. 3 touchdowns for each of QJ and Ibuka in the first 2 games. I mean, we'll see how this one works out. I'm hoping for the best. I won't be too happy if for James,
now we'd be mad
Ibuka.
if I see Ibuka score.
Yeah, maybe I gotta fire him up. I gotta fire him up in the league now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, okay, start Ibuka now because we
Yeah,
said to sit him, so he's gonna go
that's
off.
right.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, start sit decisions are really tough. So
Yeah, those are the worst ones. Like genuinely, it's the receivers because the answer is just like whoever scores is just probably gonna have the better week. So can you guess who's gonna score?
yeah, although I mean, Pearsall is the type that could have that PPR
Yeah,
scam kind of game where in a full PPR leagues, he definitely could have a huge game without even scoring a
yeah.
touchdown. But yeah, a lot of
But
times
but
it does
so
just kind of come
can
down to the touchdown.
yeah. But I mean technically so can I mean
So
especially
good, Ibuka.
Ibuka and then
Sure,
again like
that's fair.
QJ has been getting a decent target share. So factoring in that all of them are kind of capable of doing that to some extent.
Yeah.
It's just like whoever makes that big touchdown.
Yeah. But I just love that matchup against the Cardinals.
Yeah,
And
me too.
I kind of just want to take advantage of that this week. I feel like that's one of those situations where I would let the matchup kind
Yeah.
of be a tiebreaker there.
Yeah, exactly. You got to use it as a tiebreaker more than like a conviction of like, oh man, I got to start this guy over. Um, I don't know, some clear better play. This is a good example, I think, of when to use that tiebreaker for sure.
Yeah. And I'm also still trying to like finalize a few
Okay.
decisions with my lineup. So maybe you could help me with that while we wait for other questions to roll in here.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Like, if you're down like Jaden Daniels and you're like in a super flex league, I mean, do you think Tyrod Taylor's a viable start? I got him rolling in blood, sweat, and beers right now.
Who are the other options?
I mean, I guess it'd have to be like a non-quarterback option for the super flex spot. So the other options would be like, let's see here, Cedric Tillman, who is against the Packers, Travis
Yeah.
Hunter against the Texans, Rashid Shaheed at Seahawks. Um, Also, I have Jake Ferguson in as a flex right now. Um, so I could potentially, I could start with basically like two of these guys that I've mentioned here.
Yeah.
It's a full PPR, but non-tight end premium. Tyler Warren's my tight end.
Yeah, I mean, if it was any tight end premium, I'd be really, really confident with Ferguson. I mean, that's tough. Like, I think he's just kind of as good as the other options, and he's been,
Okay.
coming off that hot game. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I guess if I were to start someone this week, I'm starting Shaheed. Actually, Travis Hunter was in that other league, my other option, who I've also had in my
Okay.
lineup. So that's the
Yeah.
one I'm throwing Shaheed in over him and Ridley,
Yeah.
and just see it if I can get that big play. Knowing
Mhm.
Shaheed's that one guy, but yeah, look, I'm probably keeping Ferguson again, just knowing he's kind of due for a touchdown as well.
I feel like that
Targets
game
have been
could be a
there.
shootout. Cowboys,
Oh, and
Bears. I think
yeah,
shootout. I mean, the Bears
that's
defense has been so bad. The
yeah.
Cowboys don't have an amazing defense either.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. We're talking about like, don't let matchup. I mean, like seriously though, like Cowboys and Bears, like
Yeah,
they're
that just sounds like
riddled. Yeah,
yeah.
terrible defense and then just like also riddled with injuries for the Bears. Like that is a game you do want to target absolutely if you can. I think just
Yeah,
like
I feel like that is something I do consider is looking at the schedule, identifying those games that just sound like
yeah,
shootouts, and I just want to get like pieces of those games.
yeah, 100%. Like Bears and Cowboys, it's gonna be really hard to set those guys this week. So I
Mhm.
do like the Ferguson play, and he's just been good anyways. I mean, I feel so much better in tight end premium, of course,
Sure,
any
sure.
premium. But I mean, basically, my just like rule of thumb is like you gotta start the quarterback in super. It doesn't matter how bad they are. Like
Yeah,
it literally like one passing touchdown. Like there's just so much more likely to score touchdowns, which is really all that matters. And they
right.
touch the ball every play. Like it's just don't overthink it.
Yeah,
He runs.
yeah. So I think Tyrod's fine. What
Yeah,
about Hollywood Brown? I got him in the flex. Another good matchup at the Giants. I mean, they just got absolutely torched by the Cowboys. So what do you think? I mean, Hollywood Brown, he gets 16 targets in week one, only gets 5 targets in week two. What do we think? Is he going to bounce back in this matchup? Worthy is out. So yeah, I mean, how do you feel about Hollywood this week?
I. But you have Hollywood in that lineup.
Yeah, I have him in a flex spot along with
Yeah,
Ferguson.
I would have to think I'd play like Shaheed and stuff over him. But I mean, just me personally. And then I know that like it's hard to know exactly what Royals if he even means anything. But
Mhm.
Royals is coming back, and also he can work out of the slot. So whether it's he might just be another guy to that mix at slot. I know that Hollywood's been working there predominantly, but
Yeah.
it's just kind of one of those extra factors. Like
Mhm.
I just don't. I mean, I just don't feel confident starting Hollywood really that much in general. I know he can have that big play.
Okay.
But you can get that from Shaheed and stuff too, and I don't know. It just sounds way more appealing. I'd rather get burnt personally on Shaheed or someone like that than I would on
Okay.
Hollywood Brown because they'd be like, I'm an idiot, like starting Hollywood goddamn Brown, chasing the
Yeah.
week 1 16 targets now in week 3.
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep him in there for two reasons. One, I need to justify that I spent a third on
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown, which doesn't look like the
Okay.
smartest decision right at the moment. Two, the good matchup. And then three, my instinct was to play Hollywood. So I think at this point, if I don't have a very strong feeling that like Shaheed is the right play, I think I'm going to learn from last week where I made a couple last minute changes that
Okay.
didn't work out well. I think I'm just going to keep Hollywood in there. But yeah, in a vacuum, I do think, yeah, it's pretty close between him and
Yeah.
Shaheed. Um, Also, real quick, one other guy I wanted to ask you about, because obviously we're a dynasty channel, and a lot of dynasty leagues are tight end premium leagues, and some people play in deeper leagues as well. Some people might be hurting at tight end and scraping the waiver wire, trying to just find like a decent starter to
Okay.
throw into your lineup there. What do you think about Adam
I knew
Troutman
this
with
was coming.
what?
I knew this was coming in my head. I was like, if he pulls out though, like even Lucas Krull, because like maybe he scored like something random. I don't know
Oh
what he
God,
did. I was like,
yeah.
yeah, Troutman. I've actually picked him up on some wires. Yeah, that's a
Okay.
good pull for like dynasty. Um,
Yeah, I mean, in most redraft
yeah,
leagues, you're not even thinking
no,
about
no,
Troutman. But if you're in a deeper dynasty league, tight end premium, you're hurting a bit at tight end. And actually, I might be starting him in two leagues because
oh
in one league I'm just like so bad at tight end and like Ingram's out and he was terrible anyways. So I think I'm kind of have to start Troutman and I mean my other options are so brutal. It's a 14 team league too, so it's a deeper league, but it would have to be like Austin Hooper or like Elijah Higgins. I mean it's
yeah, no,
brutal.
you gotta start. I mean,
Yeah, got
Troutman's like an auto start over just when you have
Yeah,
any
I'm
options like
embarrassed to
that.
say those are my options. I should have been sending out more trade offers for tight ends, but hopefully
No,
won't bite me in the butt too bad there.
I
And then
mean,
also in my what I call the crazy tight end premium league,
okay.
where tight ends get 6 PPR, do I start Troutman in the flex? It would be over like Tyquan Thornton or Cedric Tillman or Keishawn Butte. I basically have to like bench one of those guys.
Yeah, I know
Or
that like the receivers are a little boosted too, but I mean like how are you gonna talk me out of scoring effectively a touchdown every time you
right
catch the
every time
ball?
you
Yeah, I
exactly.
mean to me it's just you
Yeah.
know
Yeah, so whom would you bench? Tyquan Thornton, Butte, or Tillman? So yeah, Tillman is
Ooh,
home against the Packers, tough matchup,
yeah.
and then Keishawn Butte is home against the Steelers, kind of middle of the road matchup, let's say. And Tyquan Thornton, he has that great matchup at the Giants.
Yeah,
And
I
no,
mean that's tough because Thornton's like the obvious like name to bench, but he actually like his targets are very 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 high value. I mean
yeah,
they missed a lot of near misses in week 1,
mhm,
and then he gets that touchdown in week 2.
yeah,
On only 2 catches. He's kind of like the most cheap version of JMO right now of like
yeah,
the volume's not gonna be high. So it's hard to say because there's definitely like big play bonuses in there and whatnot, right?
yeah.
So that's a tough one. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think I might lean Tyquan Thornton over Tillman, just given both the massive big play bonuses in this league, the great
Yeah.
matchup, and plus like Tillman has the tough matchup. So I feel like all three of those things combined are enough that to do something a little wacky. But like in most normal leagues, like I would probably just start Tillman over Thornton. But I feel
Yeah.
like this is the exception.
Yeah, I mean, you know the league better than me. I would basically agree with
Yeah.
that exactly if that is the
Yeah.
case that you think.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy
Yeah.
there. But yeah, I moved Troutman into the lineup, kept Thornton there, and pulled out Tillman.
Yeah, I mean those are the worst ones when you got like three. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you can all like them to certain degrees, but it's like, oh god, I don't want to sit Tillman, but for freaking
Yeah.
Tyquan Thornton, but
Yeah.
he seriously has had a pretty good role and some really high value targets as long as he
Yeah, I mean
can.
he's fast. He's gotten 4 targets, 5 targets
Yeah.
the first 2 weeks. Been playing over 70% of snaps both weeks. So yeah, and all he has to do is just like
He's
hit one
been
big play.
he's been like getting open too. Like that week 1 game, like
Yeah,
dude, I mean if Mahomes could have just like thrown him an accurate deep ball, I mean he could have
right.
like 2 touchdowns that game easy. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I have Tillman starting like somewhere this week. 'Cause I own so many Tillman
yeah,
shares in Dynasty. So when in doubt, I like to diversify a little bit.
yeah, no exactly. We got no deletes here from last stream.
Oh,
Welcome
nice.
back.
Welcome. Welcome
Um,
back.
it says, boys, do I start Fannin or Kraft since he is kind of injured? Which is a great question. We were expecting
Yeah.
some Kraft questions. I almost made it the title, for the stream. But yeah, I mean that's a really tough one. I mean these suck. I think what makes it even tougher is you got Kraft coming off a 30-point performance, because otherwise it's a I guess that's a 30-point tight end premium. I'm assuming you're playing on a full PPR elites. That would probably help as well with the decision making, if we know half or full. But Dan, what do you think immediately? I know Fannin is especially your boy here. Let's assume it's full PPR for now.
Right.
What do you lean off? What Kraft expected to play, or is going to play, but
Yeah, I mean, so have we heard much in the way of like reports about Kraft in terms of like possible limited snap count or like anything like that, or is he good to go?
I'll update it. It sounds like it was I don't know. It's being speculated. It was like some bone bruise that just like it was some sort of I don't know, whatever, like contusion or something like that. Like it's not with some like ligament damage. It's basically what the Twitter doctors are speculating of. So maybe more something about pain rather than just actual limitations of what he's going to be capable of doing today.
Okay, so it sounds like you just got it's just a little bit of a pain tolerance issue possibly, and I mean, come on, I mean, he's a big tough tight end, he's gonna tough it out. I don't think I'm like too worried about it. I would hate to bench him just because he's dealing with a little pain, and then he's just goes off and has a big game anyway. So I think if you would normally start Kraft, I'm probably just keeping him in there. But I do love some Fannin, and actually, I was just hearing Theo Greminger of Dynasty Points talk about Fannin this week as a great sneaky start, despite the seemingly tough matchup against the Packers. And of course, yes, they do have a great defense, but their biggest vulnerability so far this season has been against the tight end. So I do think Fannin is a sneaky start, but I think I'd lean toward Kraft.
Yeah, exactly. But here's what makes it a little more difficult. It says with with half point premium, and that's kind of like my answer is okay. The lower the point per reception, like you're starting obviously, just like Kraft off. Like he's the touchdown guy.
Mm-hmm.
It is definitely a lot closer with like the Fannin and PPR scanning ability. I mean, like if you watch that Bengals game, like there was some real like tight end premium PPR scamming ability there that you were loving to see, just like catches at line of scrimmage, or like 1 yard past. So like that really could be the play for Fannin. But I still just lean Kraft. Like especially if you had like Kraft in a league on a bench last week, you're like, dude, this I gotta start this dude.
Yeah,
it is a little trappy with the injury. I just think you just gotta trust him. Also, I was looking at reports. I saw this one earlier this week, which gave me a good laugh. He did like a cross chop in, I don't know, like when he was in practice, basically like with the injured players. And, someone was saying like, they're like, okay, I don't have like evidence, but like the cross chop, celebration, whatever. Like you're firing him up in fantasy leagues this week. So take it from that like beat report or whatever. I don't know. It does seem like he's like actually going to be good to go. Maybe slight limitations. I'm rolling Kraft personally, but with how much we like Fannin, very, very difficult decision as well. So I think if you lose it, it's just because it's Fannin. Fannin is like the PPR scam guy. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just feel like the Kraft situation just isn't enough for me to bench him, especially after the week he's coming off. He's just a guy that I'd rather just go down starting a guy like that who's breaking out.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think you got to lean that way. I mean, can you imagine sitting another, like assuming, maybe you did it in a league last week, like to not fire him up now.
Yeah, imagine he puts up another 30 burger and you got him on the bench a second week and you're just going to be like, what the hell was I thinking benching this guy?
Yeah. Delete says, thanks. Hey, hope that works out for you as well there. You can come back and tell us if Fannin's the dude. I mean, we love Fannin. So I mean, even I would say like confidence level to hear Dan especially say put Kraft in. Like Dan will tell you to put Fannin in over basically like 4 tight ends.
Exactly. So if I'm saying Kraft over Fannin, like that should mean something because like Harold Fannin's my dude. I had him in our bold predictions episode. If any of you guys caught our Breaking Bad stream, which was a lot of fun, you can always go back and watch it. We had a lot of fun with that, especially if you like Breaking Bad, it's a must watch. And we did our bold predictions. I was dressed up as Walt. You were dressed up as Pinkman. And I said Harold Fannon's going to be a top 12 tight end this year. This is before the season, so that take is looking pretty good.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm interested to see how that works out. I love when we get these questions and we're having a tough time, and then we can kind of keep our eye on it. Just an extra thing to watch for during the games.
Oh yeah.
There, so
yeah, 100%. And then I'm going through some of my other lineups and just seeing if I have any other tough decisions here. Hey,
I just missed Coop's comment there. Sorry, Coop.
Yeah,
if you're still here. He says he has a lot of Tyrod Taylor starting in his leagues. The low under over on the game concerns him.
Okay.
But he thinks it's a high scoring game. And personally,
that Jets defense has been like, I feel like people were expecting it to be good, but it just like hasn't at all. So I think that's something we need to adjust to and realize that like the Jets is actually, for at least for the moment, a really good matchup for your fantasy players to be facing. So yeah, I'm definitely not scared of the Jets. So yeah, I could see Jets Bucks being kind of surprisingly high scoring.
Yeah, I mean it's just one of those ones where you got that team like the Bucks that could really sling it, score some points. Sometimes that just like. I don't know, like when you especially like in hockey, like when you gotta like adjust your team's play, it can like really make those, I don't know, like teams, say like a lower scoring team, like the Jets, like have to play, and try and compensate for the Bucks thing by just like also just letting it fly, right? And just trying to get as many points. Like when you play the Bucks, like you need to score touchdowns. I wouldn't feel very confident. Obviously, it was like, the Jets Steelers one that ended up actually being a shootout. So, I mean, that's a pretty good sign that, playing a team like the Bucks that you can get a high scoring game out of. But yeah, I mean, Tyrod Taylor, it's hard to know what exactly to do with him. He's probably like one of the worst like starting quarterbacks for me. I like the rushing upside, but I mean, I'd throw in like Wentz over him personally.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, where I'm starting Tyrod, like he's the only quarterback that I can throw into that super flex spot. So, we talked about that, about the non-quarterback options I had. But I'm also facing a little decision here. Same league where I'm starting Adam Troutman. I'm embarrassed that I don't have some better options for my second flex spot here as well. But basically it's between like Calvin Austin and Hunter Renfrow. Again, 14-team league. My teams usually aren't, facing these kind of like brutal decisions of these kind of low-end players here. There are big play bonuses, 3 points for 40-yard touchdowns, and also receivers get 1.25 PPR. So I don't know if, you could argue, the big play bonuses favor Calvin Austin. Maybe the 1.25 PPR kind of favors like a Renfrow PPR scam kind of guy. Any kind of gut feeling there? I do like the matchup with Calvin Austin at the Patriots. They're 31st against receivers. And then Renfrow is, against the Falcons. A little bit of a tougher matchup, but I'm not worried too much about it. Home against the Falcons. So any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just pulled up the team as well. And Renfrow, I mean, this Renfrow, dude, I'm telling you, he's going to kill you. Like, if you just, like, whatever you do.
Yeah,
because you started him in week 1, and if you needed him in a desperation league. In week 2, he wasn't anywhere, and now week 3, you're saying like, what the hell do I do? Yeah, I mean, do they not play Atlanta? Like that could be a legit. Yeah, I mean they play Atlanta. I don't know. Look, I just hear Renfrow like somehow to me like knowing your like if you start like I want to die with Renfrow just like being in like your place of like. I'm starting this dude over like Adam Troutman or Calvin Austin coming off the hot game.
Yeah.
I don't know, like doesn't work. I have no idea, but like honestly, those other guys probably don't score points anyways. Right. I mean, he's kind of like the highest floor play anyways. I want to get Renfrow that lineup is the important part of this whole start sit thing. Who do you sit him for? I don't know. I mean Calvin Austin or Adam Troutman. Well,
I mean, I gotta play Troutman because I gotta start a tight end.
Okay, so Calvin Austin then, right? Or who's the other flex?
JMO.
So so the original question then was just between Renfrow
Calvin
and
Austin and Renfrow. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Renfrow, I'd play Renfro. Like I would have
Okay.
to. It's just I know Calvin
Yeah.
Austin can put up the big plays.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean,
Well,
you
I
make a
see
good
the
point.
matchup though.
Like, do I make the last minute change? You know what I
I
mean? Like
see it. I do
that's
see
what
the
I'm.
I do see the matchup. We're talking about it. I think right before the stream or at the start of the stream about like. I mean, at least just looking at the projections, like you kind of need like the Calvin Austin big game. So okay, I can see in that
Yeah.
context. What the tough part about that is you just saw that spike week from Hunter Renfro, and you have a chance to stack with Bryce Young. So
Yeah. I know that is tempting.
I don't know. To
Yeah. I mean,
me, I still lean Renfro,
okay.
and
Yeah. I mean, I am starting Tet too. I mean, do you mind starting like Bryce and two of the
just
receivers?
honestly, just hope it's a big shootout game. I mean, that might be how you win the week. Like, you just correlate
Right.
your bets. Just hope that's like a 30-30 game. I think that's how I would
Yeah.
lean. Uh,
You may have
yeah.
talked me into it, Blake, with that last point there.
I mean,
I
dude,
don't know.
do you know how sick you'd be if your boy Renfro scored another touchdown?
I know. I love Renfro. Hey, another guy that I said on the bold
Yeah,
predictions he'd be a fantasy zombie this year. So,
yeah.
yeah. Do I go down swinging with my boy Renfro? I guess I could.
I,
I guess I could live with
I,
it if it doesn't work
I,
out.
I would think you have to. Also, we
All
got
right.
what is I gotta take a close look at this one. Varun, Videntham. I like. Is that your real name? Like I've never heard of. That's gotta be like a TV character name or something like that. Because if not, that's a wicked name, um, and like an alliteration. But pick
Yeah.
two.
In any case, welcome to the channel.
Welcome. I was just like mesmerized by like trying to read that
Yeah.
name. Pick two. Flex PPR. Jordan Mason, DeAndre Swift, Garrett Wilson, Brian Thomas, Kenneth Walker. My initial reaction
Man.
is fire up Kenneth Walker with no Charbonnet,
Yeah. 100%.
and you just got to start Brian Thomas. like just like,
I don't know. Honestly, I don't mind with those other options making Brian Thomas earn his way back into your starting lineup.
but are you really starting Swift over him? Are you starting Garrett Wilson with Tyrod Taylor over him? And if anything, to me, it would be okay. You could throw Jordan Mason in, but again, it's full PPR. I'm
Yeah.
just throwing in Brian Thomas and just praying he can catch a football.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if Fields was in there, he has that connection with Garrett Wilson. I think I'd be more inclined to kind of go with the high floor of Garrett Wilson there. But yeah, with Tyrod in there, yeah, I guess Brian Thomas is probably the best choice in a
I
full
mean,
PPR. I mean, Jordan Mason, I do think he could have a big game this week,
yeah.
but the floor is low with I mean, yeah, he'll probably get like a couple targets, but like if he doesn't score, and like you said, Blake, as a Vikings fan, you see that the Vikings just don't tend to have a lot of rushing touchdowns. So
Yeah.
it does feel like with Jordan Mason, you could get like a 20 carries for 90 yards and like two catches for like 10 yards, and then it's like, oh great, you got like what, like 12 fantasy points, like big deal.
Yeah, and that's exactly where my mind goes. Like I love Jordan Mason as a play, especially
Yeah.
when you don't have these options for your flex.
Yeah. But
But
more as like an RB2 than like a flex play.
yeah, I mean, if you just go to full PPR, Jordan. Again, here's the thing: you might be like, okay, well, Mason or Aaron Jones is out. Well, Aaron Jones was basically out that entire last game. That was a really bad offensive game, so not the greatest sample. You could expect better from Mason, but like he was still scoring like whatever it was, like 9 PPR points or something along those lines. Dude, Brian Thomas in like two of the worst like performances of his career scored 9 fantasy points. So, I mean, if he can just catch a football, yeah, it's Brian Thomas by a mile here. And also knowing what you've probably spent on Brian Thomas in like the draft, I think this is one of those scenarios where you're like, dude, I cannot sit Brian Thomas after a 12 target game, just
Right.
because it was like an all time, just terrible performance. Just fired him up. And
Yeah, and I think a player as talented as Brian Thomas, like he's got to have some pride, and like I got to think like that he's had some fire in his belly this week at practice, like determined to correct whatever issues he was having with drops
Yeah.
or whatever else, alligator arms. And I like to think a guy like him is going to come out firing this week and want to get the bad taste out of his mouth and show what he's capable
Yeah,
of.
I also always think that like the two highest floor players just like still even with how bad it's been, the targets have been there. So I think they're two highest floor and two highest ceiling plays basically of your entire team. I think you got to roll with them for sure.
Yeah, and by the way, Blake, I have officially put Hunter Renfro into my flex spot in that league, so I'm gonna roll with it because you know what, I think it's perfect too because in this league I am starting not only Bryce Young, Ted McMillan, and Hunter
You got
Renfro.
Penix in
I also
London?
have Penix in London. So like I'm just gonna
Yeah.
bet on this game being a shootout, and if it is, like I'm gonna win my week
Yeah,
pretty easily.
yeah, I mean, just to like really, yeah, sum it up very easy. If this game is low scoring anyways, you lose. So like,
Exactly. Might
like
as well just
just
like correlate my
yeah,
bets so that way I only need to get like one thing right basically this
yeah,
week to win. Like if Panthers Falcons is a shootout, I've now won my week because
yeah.
I've got five of the best fantasy players in that game starting.
Yeah, like you need Bryce Young to throw touchdowns. And guess what? If Ted McMillan doesn't score a touchdown, who's the next most likely player to probably catch a touchdown? It's got to be Renfro. It can't be
Yeah,
JT
100%.
Sanders. So
Yeah.
I just think I think it's yeah, it's an easy
Yeah.
tiebreaker. And this is the fact
Yeah.
that the floor on Calvin Austin is literally zero.
Yeah.
Though he still provides some really nice upside.
Oh yeah, and to be clear, like I still think Calvin Austin is a good start this week. So like if you're a little desperate or you're in a league with like big
Yeah.
play bonuses, I do like Calvin Austin this week. But yeah, I just think I like to correlate bets when possible, and I have so much invested in that game anyways. I'm just gonna lean into it.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those rare. You have like half your lineup is that game.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta go with it. Gotta go with
So
that.
hopefully
So
it's-
I think that's a good call there.
Hopefully it's Hunter Renfro season. I'll keep an eye on that.
Here's the
matchup.
thing, like if it doesn't work out, like I probably was gonna lose anyway.
No,
So
that's exactly. Yeah.
I do think like it's one of those cases where like even if Calvin Austin has the better game, I think it was the right decision.
No, yeah. I mean, 100%. Like, I don't need to say it. You know, I think this is in the fantasy community or whatever. Start sits. You're like, oh my god, like I should have known to go. Like, no, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this is a perfect one. You're gonna lose anyways if the game stinks.
Yeah.
You got to roll with it. So.
Yeah, and that's just the beauty of stacking in general is that you correlate your bets, you consolidate your bets, and then you need fewer things to go right in order for you to win your matchup.
Yeah, I mean, this is textbook. You have one bet, shootout,
Yeah.
and hopefully passing touchdowns. And if that happens, oh boy,
Yeah.
this is gonna be a great bet to make this week, and might be able to get a little bit of an upset there.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah, so I just need that game to be a shootout.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. I gotta take a look at. I'll scroll through a couple teams, see if I got any. And do you have any other?
Yeah. I'm taking a look to see if I have any other tough decisions here. Okay, yeah, we looked at the. I still got to decide on Ibuka versus Montgomery. I have Ibuka in right now, especially with him playing at 1. I'm kind of afraid to take him out. I just feel like I know he's going to score a touchdown. I'm like, why did I bench Ibuka at the last second? So I might just leave him in there. I mean, I do think Lions Ravens could be a shootout, certainly. I am a little nervous though because it seems like the Lions never play well in Baltimore. It seems like they always go in there and like Goff has an off game and like they, Ravens just like going off on them with, Lamar and Derrick Henry and everyone. So I hope it's not a repeat of that, but I'm at least open to the possibility of that just kind of based on history. And, I've seen it firsthand as a Lions fan. So yeah, I think I'm leaning Ibuka slightly here, but it is a tough call because I mean, a definite shootout potential, and Montgomery could have some touchdown opportunities, maybe even catches a few passes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, hey, you know about the history of the thing. I mean, normally, just thinking about it from like like a normal thing. I'm not too worried about like the history of. Also, when you think about it, like, what's the sample of them going into Ravens? Like they play. I mean, it's once every 8 years. Now with the new rule changes, it's okay. It's sometimes like one every 4 years because you get that extra potential matchup. I'm not like too worried about the history of like the Lions and the Ravens, even though there might be some like seemingly evidence there.
Right.
It might just be whatever, like whoever maybe Stafford didn't like it, or Goff went there once. I'm not too worried about that, but I would certainly play. I mean, that should be a high scoring game. Like, if you're just looking at it, and
should. I mean, I do have Montgomery starting in at least one other league, possibly more than one other. So I might lean toward just diversifying and plus like leaving my lineup the way it is, not making the last minute decision. But I do think it's a tough choice there.
Yeah, it's a tough choice. If you want to diversify, I think that's completely fine as well. I mean, I definitely don't mind doing that when you're in as many leagues as we are.
Yeah, for sure. I'm taking a look at some other leagues here. I'm also just like any players that's out, like I'm throwing them in my IR slots because then you can always like add an extra player.
Yeah.
Even if like waivers only like run once a day overnight, you can still like add some players that are in like the Lions Ravens game. So it's still good to throw those guys in your IR slots like anytime you can.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm throwing guys like, Tanner McGee and Damian Pierce, and obviously this is more like a, guys you would roster in Dynasty, not so much redraft, but hey, it's a Dynasty channel, so yes, I'm doing that. So yeah, it looks like my listener league lineup is pretty good there. Let's see, bums and ballers. Okay, let's look at this lineup here for me. I wish I could screen share this. Maybe we'll work on that for the next stream. Let's see. I got Kyron Williams in there, Jordan Mason, and then let's see, I have Ridley on the bench. Yeah, let's see, I got Pollard in there. Yeah, I don't think I would start Ridley over any of those running backs. Would you? Like Kyron, Pollard,
Yeah.
Jordan Mason.
No. Yeah. I know that like actually Pollard as well and Kyron they've been disappointing. They're just getting a lot of opportunities. I'm just firing them up.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
they're due for a good game. I feel like they're due to score this week, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep rolling those guys in there. I feel like
Yeah.
there's positive regression coming there.
But Pollard has to easily be the highest touch player without a touchdown so far this season. So,
Right, right, yeah,
uh,
he's definitely due. So yeah, I think that lineup is good. Um, let's see. Okay, Joey's league here. Let's see if. Oh God, this league. I mean, this is one of my most loaded dynasty teams. I mean, the start sit decisions are ridiculous in this. So I have to bench either. Well, let's see. Okay, okay. Listen to this, Blake. I can only start two of these players. Alvin Kamara, Zay Flowers, Devonte Adams, Keenan Allen, Chris Olave. I can only start two of these guys.
yeah, I mean, you just got to go Adams. I know it's against Philly. That's a tough one because
Yeah,
Philly's running the lowest amount of plays. I'm just throwing Devontae Adams, and I mean he is just soaking up
yeah.
targets. Always a big touchdown threat. To me, he's been a lock in all my lineups. And then
So are you benching Kamara or Flowers?
and then that's the thing. Camara Flowers like that is very difficult, but
Yeah,
I think just roll Flowers. Yeah, you like Flowers. I mean,
yeah,
if you like Flowers, like there's really no you gotta put him in. Like his
yeah.
target share has been just completely nutty. Again, shootout potential against the Lions. Um, to me, it's just easy enough. Like just Flowers in there on the 40% target share.
Yeah. Okay, so Kamara or Adams then.
Yeah, I would go Adams personally. That one you could talk me into like the Kamara side, but
Hmm.
I mean I don't know the Rattler experience for Kamara.
At Seattle.
It hasn't seemed like the greatest thing. Seattle's got a good defense as well. That's actually
Yeah.
one of the top like streaming defenses in general. Is just like this week is Seattle.
Although
So
oddly they're 26 against running backs through the first 2 weeks.
yeah,
Strangely.
I mean maybe they just played like what do they play like Bucky Irving or something like that or I don't know. But they probably
Yeah, it could
played
be something like that. Yeah, I'm not taking too much into the matchup at this point, but yeah.
yeah. And again, actually, you know what's interesting about that one too is like sometimes those ones are like really inflated because whatever. There's like three like one team will deploy like a Ty Johnson and then oh my god like Ty Johnson randomly scores a touchdown or whatever the hell it is like it's like that's how the tight end one can be really deceiving by the way. It's like this Lucas Kroll scored 2 touchdowns randomly like. Well,
Right.
yeah, they're gonna be bad against tight ends. I don't know who they played. I would just lean Devontae Adams personally. I have like a ton of confidence in. He's basically like an auto start no matter how shallow the format to me, at least.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Just that. I mean, Kamara kind of seems like pretty close to an auto start as well. So, yeah. I mean, I probably can't really go wrong there. Probably won't matter too much. I might just lean toward keeping Kamara in there since that's like how I have it,
yeah,
and I'm really trying to get better about like not making last minute lineup
yeah,
changes unless this like really makes a lot of sense, like that Renfro decision did, or if it's like yeah, unless it's just so obvious that like it's the right
yeah.
call.
We should track it. We should say what
Yeah.
was your initial intuition. We should look at these, and if you're like, I could be talking this one, but I'm gonna keep it. We should see how that does. See if there's any I don't know, see if there's any trend there that your the initial gut reaction or something is been more effective.
Yeah, let me see if I have any other tough lineup decisions here. So yeah, I think I should probably win that matchup regardless.
Yeah.
How about Walter White's lab? So this is the Dynasty team that we co-manage together, Gray Matter Technologies. So what do you think? Are we feeling okay about the lineup? I see we have Darnell Mooney in there, whom we recently traded for. Do we
Hmm.
feel okay about him? I mean, hopefully, we're just talking about that game being a
Yeah.
shootout, so I think Mooney could be kind of sneaky, and like most people probably won't be starting him because he was disappointing last week in his first game. Is there anyone else that we should be considering over Mooney?
I took a look. I mean, I guess you could say it would be like Tootin. Again, like
Right.
he's interesting, but he's kind of like one of those ones where he's gonna easily get forced in your lineup if you have just like no like RB2 or something. I think that's like the way to
Right.
normally play him. The thing with Moody, yeah, really high scoring game or whatever. But here's the thing that's also really nice. Like obviously no Falcon receiver had a good game. It was just like a brutal, as bad of a game script as you can have. Penix also
Right.
just didn't have a good game anyways throwing on
Mhm.
the few attempts. But Mooney ran 24 of 24 routes. It's exactly what you wanted to see in his return. So he's just 100% or whatever, close as you can get to running all the routes.
Mhm.
And we know what he is. Like, yeah, he's not going to have the highest floor, but he is very capable of giving those spike weeks. So I love him for a lineup. Uh,
Mhm.
I mean, he's kind of just like an auto starter in our situation here, at least in my opinion.
Okay.
Especially against like Carolina in this matchup. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I think you could argue it's pretty close between him and Tootin, but yeah, I mean, hey, I'm betting on
yeah,
that Panthers Falcons game being a shootout, so let's just roll with it.
yeah. I mean, I just it's more one of those opportunity things. Mooney's on the field 100% of the time versus Tootin's whatever
Yeah,
30%. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, of course, like Tootin's role could grow, but
yeah,
hard to anticipate and
yeah,
expect.
yeah. I want to be proven wrong, like in this scenario of like hopefully it grows and hopefully we have to put him in next week. I would love that.
Yeah,
So
exactly. That'd be a good problem to have.
yeah,
But yeah, I think that probably makes sense.
yeah. And then the other one is just like Mooney. I mean, especially on decisions like this, I'm just looking at like we can absolutely get a really good Mooney game without a touchdown. Like a
Mhm.
Tootin game right now on his what we think he's gonna do. Like he needs a touchdown to even like pay off,
Right.
likely.
Yeah, because he's
So
not going to get a lot of volume. Yeah, he basically either needs a
yeah,
touchdown or a big play.
yeah. So to me, yeah, I want to lose. If I'm gonna lose the start sit thing, I'm gonna do it because okay, this guy had to score the touchdown,
Right.
and my guy didn't. So I mean,
Yeah.
I mean that's just my process on that one. But
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like that was probably like the only decision that we really need to make this week, right? And there's no one else that you'd want to bench for Tootin, right?
I don't think so. I scrolled through. I mean,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know Connor
it's
has been amazing, but he actually does have a pretty good history against the Niners.
okay.
Even I saw like I was looking at his back game log. I think he had like a 50 burger like at San Francisco like a few
Okay.
years ago. So
Yeah.
not saying he's going to do that this week, but I mean he should at least give us solid points, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just still rolling them until proven otherwise, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, I mean, it's hard to say. Like, when 14 touches, you can get the receiving ability in there. Keeps falling
Yeah.
in the end zone. Just got to fire him up, hope for the best.
Yeah, I agree. Any other tough lineup decisions that you're facing? Like, do most of your lineups look good? Or are you still cycling through them?
Yeah, I'm looking through. Let's see. Even though.
And yeah, it looks like Brock Purdy is out, as well as Juwan Jennings. So just updating everyone in case you guys missed that. They play at 4 o'clock. So yeah, make sure you get them out of your starting lineup. Yeah, I mean you might be thinking about firing up Mac Jones. I actually think I have Mac Jones starting in my redraft league.
Mhm.
The only other really options would be Bryce Young, who I have on my bench, or I could pick up like Russell